Hello, in today's tutorial we are creating an action for eyes blinking. Also we are going to add custom shapes for the eyelids controllers. Okay, let's go. Select the armature, switch to the edit mode and activate all bones layers. Duplicate the MCH bone or the left eyelids. Actually, we could duplicate any bone or even add new. We just need another one bone. Clear parenting from the duplicated bone, located randomly but not very close to the other groups of bones. Rotate it by 90 degrees and name it as CTRL-blink-base. Select the origin of this bone and extrude a new bone according to the video. Name the new bone as CTRL-blink.r and duplicate it. Snap the duplicated bone to the tail of the base bone and name it as CTRL-blink.l. Select both right and left bones and parent them to the base bone. After that, switch to the pose mode and disable the layers of all types of bone except CTRL. Open the action editor, create a new action and name it as blink. Being at 0 frame, select the eyelids controllers one by one, press I key and select the location. That's how we create a keyframe with location channel for one or several bones. Do it for all 4 controller bones of the eyelids. Set the slider at the 50th frame and open each eye at maximum. After we open the eyes, select all 4 controllers, press I and select the location. We've just created the keyframes for all 4 controllers at once. Be sure that all eyes controllers are still selected. Select all keyframes at the timeline, then press T key and select the linear interpolation. That's it. The blink action has been completed, but to make it work we need to assign the action constraint to each controller of the eyelids. Let's do this. Select the eyelids controller bone, open the constraint properties tab and add the action constraint. Set the following settings for this constraint. Set the armature in the target field. In the bone field, select the CTRL-blink.r bone, then select the blink in the toAction field. Set the transform channel as Y location and the target space as local space. Set the maximum target range as 0.5. Pay attention that this value could be different for each character. This value sets empirically. The settings of the action range are next. The start is 0 and the end is 50. These values correspond to the start and end keyframes of the blink action. Excellent, the constraint has been set up. Well, since those 3 bones that are responsible for blinking are controllers, let's assign them to the CTRL layer. After that, go back to the pose mode and test the right blinking controller. As we can see, so far it affects only on the lower right eyelid. So let's assign the action constraint to the rest controllers. Add the action constraint to the upper right controller first. The settings of the constraint are exactly the same as for the lower controller. Now the right blinking controller opens the whole right eye. Let's deal with the left eye. The settings of the action constraint is same with one exception. In the bone field we should select the CTRL-blink.l bone. There is one controller left without the constraint. So select the left controller without the constraint first, then select the controller with the constraint. Click on the Pose tab, select Constraints, then copy constraints to selected bones. That's how we can copy the already correctly set up constraint from one bone to another. Very well, now both blinking controllers affect the eyes opening, but we can see that these controllers are moving in the indefinite range. So we need to assign the limit location constraint to these controllers. Select the right blinking controller and add the limit location constraint. In the settings of this constraint, necessarily activate the checkboxes of the maximum and minimum values for y-axis. Set the owner space as local space. Set 0.5 in the maximum y field. This value corresponds to the value of the maximum range in the action constraint of the eyelid's controller. These settings allow the blinking controller to move in the specific range only by y-axis, and this is exactly what we need. Let's copy this constraint to the left blinking controller. For this, select the left controller first, then select the right one. Click on the pause tab, select constraints, then copy constraints to selected bones. Let's check what we got. All works properly. And now it is time to create some handy custom shapes for those controllers. We already did similar action during the previous tutorials. If you wanna refresh your memory, just click on the prompt in the top right corner. Meanwhile, we keep going. Go to the object mode. There are already the shapes of the pupils controllers here. I'll just drag and drop them to the specific collection in the outliner, cause everything should be streamlined. And you, do you have specific collection for different types of objects? Cause you have to.
Remember that word, son. Discipline.
I will, Pa.
Thanks God they cut this shot. Press Shift A and add a new plane. Switch to the edit mode, delete the upper edge and create it again. We did so specifically to remove the face. Go back to the object mode and duplicate this shape. Scale down the duplicated shape in the edit mode. Name the bigger shape as blink base shape, then name the smaller one as blink shape. After that, select the armature and switch to the pose mode. Select both right and left blink controllers, open the bone properties tab, then viewport display tab, and holding Alt key, select the blink shape in the custom object field. Now select the base bone and select the relevant shape for it. So far we got some kind of nonsense. Of course this is not what we need and we got to fix it. Locate the right blinking controller to the maximum range. Switch to the object mode, select the shape related to those two controllers and switch to the edit mode. Our task is to correct the shape in such way to fit the controllers inside the base shape and not to cross them with each other. If this task is quite dreary for you, just try to pretend that you are passing through minigame before a really big case. As soon we thought that we fit both controllers, we can start to correct the base shape. Correct the bigger shape in such a way to make its lines come into almost full contact with lines of the blinking controllers. After those manipulations, select the armature and switch to the edit mode. Let's align the blinking controllers above the pupil's bones. Then, select the base bone of the blinking controllers and parent it to the main base bone of the pupil's controllers. That's it. Basically, we've finished the controllers of the eyes blinking. But what if we need to manipulate each eyelid individually? For this, we got the citral bones of the eyelids. All we need to do is create the custom shape for them. In the object mode, add a new circle. Switch to the edit mode and transform this circle into the arrow. Go back to the object mode, duplicate this arrow object, one for the upper eyelids and one for the lower. Name these arrows in any way just to know what are they for. Select the armature and go to the pose mode. Select both lower eyelids and assign the relevant shape to them. Do the same for the upper eyelids. Something went wrong. The upper arrows are aimed down. Not a problem. Go to the object mode, select the relevant shape, switch to the edit mode and mirror all vertices by y-axis. Excellent! The arrows are aimed up. As you have noticed, the arrows are overlapped when the eyes are closed. Let's paint the arrows in different colors to prevent any confusion. Open the Armature Properties tab, then Bone Groups tab. Create 4 new groups. They are lidupper.l, lidupper.r, lidlower.l, and lidlower.r. Assign all eyelids controllers to relevant groups and assign a specific color. I prefer warm tones for the right controllers and cool tones for the left controllers. The file with today's results will be available in the next tutorial. Next time we are building the rig for the eyebrows. Subscribe to the channel, ask your questions in the comment section, and until the next exciting time!